Hey guys, what's up? So I'm here to talk about Panic at the Disco's brand new third full-length album, and it's called Vices and Virtues. And here is the album cover. Hey, it's pretty cool. It looks like it's like a two-man band now, at least when it comes to making the album. But like I mentioned before, this is the band's third album. I, like most people, loved Panic's first album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. It was very, I guess, somewhat different at the time of like the whole emo pop rock phase at that time, I guess. And you know, they kind of had a little concept album going on where they would have the first half being more like a pop electronic rock album, and then the other half would be kind of like a vaudeville throwback album, and both halves were really good. I personally liked the first half better than the second half, but I thought they were both good. You know, great singing, a lot of different instruments, which was very cool. And then they put out a Pretty Odd, which was kind of odd for them because they out of nowhere kind of put out a copycat Beatles influence type of album. I didn't like it at all. I didn't. Some people loved it. I think it was a lot of people either loved it or hated it, and I personally hated it. The only song I really liked was 9 in the Afternoon, and even that song got kind of old. And I was kind of over the band at that point. And then, of course, everybody knows what happened. The band kind of broke into two halves, and you have Panic at the Disco and the Young Vanes. I think that's what they're calling. They're kind of more towards the Beatles era type of music, and they kind of went back. I shouldn't even say back, because I know a lot of people say this album kind of sounds like their first album, but it really doesn't. To me, it just kind of sounds like a progression, like what their second album probably would have sounded like. To me, there's kind of similar elements in the first album, at least on the first half of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Kind of more, you know, electronic-y, dancey, rock type of sound. The vaudeville stuff is pretty much gone, although I'll get to that a little bit later. But this album contains 10 tracks, and there's no, you know, vaudeville stuff like I just said. But it's a good album. It's not my favorite album, but it's good. Pleasantly surprised just because I didn't know what really to expect. But I really like the first half, kind of like in the last album, more than the second half. I mean, it's all kind of, like I mentioned, like kind of dancey, indie-ish rock, pop sound. But I just think the songs are stronger in the first half. Everybody knows their single, "The Ballad of Mona Lisa," which is really good. I like the intro, and it's got a great chorus. My personal favorite in these 6 songs, or in the whole entire album, my personal favorite song is "Let's Kill Tonight," which is track 2. Absolutely amazing. I love the whole drum beat, like, intro that it has, and it has this great chorus. It's very fun, infectious song to sing, and the verses are amazing too. It's just a great song, full of energy. Probably the best song I think they've ever written, but that's just me. I mean, I could be jumping to conclusions, because for all I know, a week later I'll probably hate the album. I don't know, but for now I love that song. Hurricane and Memories are great, which are the following 2 tracks. Trade Mistakes and Ready to Go actually are all really great. Actually, Ready to Go, which I hear is going to be their next single, kind of sounds like a Fall Out Boy song, because I know the singer kind of resembles Patrick from Fall Out Boy a little bit. You know, if you close your eyes, and you know, you would think maybe could be Patrick singing, but that one's good too. And then the next 4 aren't bad by any means. It's just they didn't quite jump at me like the first 6 songs did. There's kind of a slower song, track 7, Always, which is okay. And then Sarah Smiles has this like weird type of instrumental verses. Kind of resembles what could have been the vaudeville era A Fever You Can't Sweat Out part of the album. Kind of could fit on that album. But overall, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. The only thing is, it will get old I think what I liked about the first Panic album was that before it got old, the electronica stuff, you went to the vaudeville. You know, it never got to get old because it would just switch over. And unfortunately, it doesn't have that here. So I think after a while, this may get monotonous, and you might just be like, okay, I can only take a few songs. So I could see that in the future. One thing I didn't really like was there's like the songs seem like they might be long when you look at the times on the songs, because like most of the songs are like 3.5 to 4 minutes, and the reason that is because a lot of these songs have like these little outros that kind of sound like elevator music. Maybe that's like, maybe they're carrying that over from the first album, kind of like a theme, but I didn't care for it, and it's like these songs could be a lot shorter. Maybe because I feel like when people play this album, they're gonna skip over it. Like as soon as the song is done, they're gonna go to the next track. They're not gonna sit there and listen to these outros, which is not bad. I mean, it's kind of refreshing, but it gets old after a while because it pretty much happens almost after every song. It's not the most horrible thing, but I could have done without it, or at least not on every track, because it's on almost every song. But in the end, I find it to be a pretty good album. You know, it definitely surprised me. My favorite songs I'm gonna say are "Let's Kill Tonight," "The Ballad of Mona Lisa," and probably "Memories," but that could change. But like I said, you know, a few negatives: the outros, the monotony of it. But other than that, you know, I'm gonna give it a 4, just because I know it's not gonna be an album I play over and over, because you know it's kind of a genre that I feel like I'm kind of growing out of. But you know, there are some definitely strong tracks on here to at least give it a solid 4. And after the last album, I feel like anything would have been incredible. So definitely check it out if you know you like the band and you like the early stuff. Maybe you'll probably like this. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars out of 5. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.